So yesterday we were discussing logical functions, right? And I made mention of switch, right? So, and I gave an example, and I said I will give us a better example that will sink in, right? So I'll give us that now. Then we'll proceed. Yeah. Now, new measure. Now, I can say switch is an alternative for if. Let me just put it that way. Now, I can say if example. If example, all right? So I can say if, let's say, sum of profits or anything, sum of profits, if sum of profits is greater than 1 million, Abi, or something, return 0, otherwise return nothing. Something of this nature. If sum of others' profit is greater than 1 million, return 0, otherwise return nothing. So this is a measure, right? So if I pick a car, for example, and I pick this guy, you can see it's returning 0 if it is what? Greater than this value here, 100,000. So meaning it's greater than. So switch is just an alternative way. So if I want to write this for switch, right? Let me say new measure. Switch example. I say switch expression. So let's say sum of what? Profit. The same way. Sum of profits. Right? Is greater than 100,000. All right. So it asks me for value. Value is 1,000, or say the same thing, 0. And results, just the same way we have this. So if I change this guy to switch, okay. Wait, okay. Value will be, let's say, good. Let's say good. Otherwise, say 0. Okay, wait, let's see. It's greater than, let me say, sum of sales. Sales. Where is sales? Let me see, where is those are okay, let me say quantity. This should work, or if this does not work, okay, so let's use this example. It won't work now. So let's say we can do, for example, let's come to, I hope you are with me. So let's look at, for example, we have orders, fact sales, right? And we have this category as ship mode. As ship mode. Now we have just 4 categories of ship mode: first class, same day, second class, and what? And standard class. Let's say, for example, I want to code this. Instead of saying first class, same day, second class, standard class, I want to code it as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is 0 for first class, second class 2, standard class 3, same day 4. I can code this, and then I can say I want to add it now. Add everything together. So in that case, I can also use switch. I think that's majorly one of the major use cases, right? So I can say, I can wrap around, I want to sum it, so I can use a sum x, and then it will ask me for a table. So remember that we can convert a column to a table using values or remember we talked about, okay. How about now? Can you hear me very well now? Is it better?
Yeah, it's normal on my end. It's very okay on my end.
Okay. So values, I said, whenever you wanted to convert a column to a table, you use values or call. Remember, if you look at this formula, let me clear this out. Sum x is saying, give me a table, all right? Give me a table, but we don't want to give you a table. We want to sum that column, the column shape mode, right? We want to sum the column shape mode after we have passed our switch formula to convert first class, second class, standard class, and same day into 0 as 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's asking for a table, but shape mode is a column. So two DAX functions that we can use is values or all. Now they are a bit different in the sense that all will return, like it works like all selected, so it will return the whole, everything, all the columns, but values will return the distinct values. So let's say, for example, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in a column. If you use all on that column will return 7, which is the total of that column, but values will return 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I will use both now, you will see what I'm saying. So let me first of all use values. Values, table name. So we are using ship mode, right? Ship mode, which is this one. Now it's asking for the expression. Our expression is now our switch statement. Switch. So we are saying the ship mode, right? Comma. Now, wherever you see first class, wherever you see first class, return 1, right? Wherever you see second class, return 2. Wherever, so change it to 2. That is the meaning of the switch now. Wherever you see standard class, return 3, right? And then wherever you see same day, return 4. If there is not, is there any other thing, return nothing. Now you will notice something. What is this returning for us? 10, right? Because when you had first class, 1 plus 2, 3, 3 plus 3, 4, 4 plus, 3 plus 3, 6, 6 plus 4, 10. That's why it's giving you this 10, because it's now adding this ship mode. It's adding all the 10 categories. Now, let me put it in, let me convert this to a table, and you see, and let me pick ship mode. Now you can see it's telling us that we represented first class with 1, second class with 2, standard class with 3, same day with 4. So this is just one of the things you use switch for, right? But if I change this formula, to switch example, if I change this guy to all, you see what will happen now. What can you see? It's returning 10, 10, 10, all true for everything. Immediately I changed it to all. So that's to tell you that all will not work in this instance. So we use values, right? So we use values. So one of the use cases I've told you is, for example, you have a categorical column. When I say categorical column, a column that is not that long, right? Let's say male and female, and you don't want to write it as male and female. You want to code it as 0 and 1 or 1 and 2. So you can use switch, right, to do this. And if you are not convenient, of course, you can create a calculated column, or from your Power Query, you can do a new column, right, and say wherever it is male, make it 1, whether it is female, make it what, 2. This is just a workaround in case you don't want to use that from Power Query. So there are different ways to approach such. So that's how switch works, right? So let me change this to value, and then you see that you can see that it's giving us, because it's giving us unique values for each of our codings. All right. I want us to start our dashboard reading this today. So the others are text functions. I believe we should be fine with text functions. These are basically like Excel functions: upper, lower, left, right. Concatenate X is just iteration. It works most likely like so. Substitute, meet, find, search. We did a bit of search. Then repeat, exact. So you can just try all these ones on your own, right? The other one I want to explain to us is user relationship, which I believe is very key. All right. So user relationship is what another thing I want to explain to us. So let me proceed to Power BI. Now, remember, please, are you with me, guys? So remember that we created relationship here. Look at this. Are you guys? You can just drop a comment if you are here. Michael is the only one here. Benji, don't go. Michael, can you hear me? Michael, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Okay. Okay, so remember we created this relationship here.
Yes, sir.
Now, let's say we have a logistic data where you have shipping dates, delivery dates, and maybe other dates. And remember that you can only create a relationship between your date table and one of the date feed. Remember. So if I want to create a relationship between, do I have date table here? We have not even created date table. We have to create date table. So we have ship date here. Do you have any other dates? Right. So this is an example. So let me create a date table. Then we'll discuss this further. Date table, of course, calendar, photo, that does that. New column, month number, months of the dates, right? The month, new column again. The month, which is what? Format. Use format. The dates. The dates. The dates, comma, the format you want, right? So if you want the month in full, we use 4 M's. If you want it short, we use 3 M's. If you want the month in full, we use 4 M. If we want it short, we use 3 M's, right? So let's do year. Is year of dates. Year of the dates. All right. So let's do one more. I just want to use it to explain user relationship. Let's do which one more now? Let's do quarter. Let's do quarter. So Joseph, you came in, I think you lost your network. So what we are doing is, for every of your model, there is it's very important to create a date table, right? So, and we've not done that. So that's what we are doing. So how do I do that? What I just done is come to my data tab and then click on new table. So when I click on new table, the first thing I enter is the name of the date table, and I enter equals to calendar auto. Immediately I enter calendar auto, generates all these dates, right? And then I will say new column. And I come to new column, I want to generate month number, month, the date, this date here, the date. The same thing to get the month in names, right? I need to use format the date in months. So if I want it to format it in days as well, I can change to DDD. And it will give me, you can see, give me in days. If I want this in year, right? I will say YYY, and it give me, you can see now. So, and it gives me in year, right? But want the month part, that's why we are using MMM. So I want it shortened, 3-letter words. I will get 3-letter words. I will use 3 M's. Then G, yeah, welcome back. So if I want it in 3 letters, I use 3 M's. If I want it in full, I use 4 M's, right? So that's how it works. So then year as well, I'll use the year part of the date, quarter, so it's just straight away. Let me create one more, which is I expect us to have our Power BI open because we still share our screen and then we do some stuff. So because you are going to recreate this date table. Exactly. So then let's do month year. So month year. So now month year, I will pick. What I need to do is I can either use concat, all right? Concat. The test one is the month, so which is the month part of. I want to concat it. I want to make it month year, so it will be like Jan 2014, Jan, like that. So I can use concat and then pick my month, comma the year, comma hyphen, because I want to separate it by hyphen, then the year, right? I will say the year. All right. Oh, sorry.
Let's take a look at what you've been performing and listen to what your favorite motto is. All right, check this out.
The year. The year, and then I hit enter. All right, and that works, right? That's one way. Or I can also say month. I'll pick my month, then I will say hand. Hand is to concatenate now, right? I will put my hyphen, which is the separator, in 2 double quotes, join it again with hand, because why are we using that hand twice? That is a test. So a test cannot just combine with values directly. So we need to put it inside quote and then join it with and, right? So, and then we now join with year. So, and then we hit enter. So we still get the same answer. So now that our date table is ready, we'll now click on date. You can see this table tools. Your cursor must be on this table tools, and then you can say mark as date. You can see mark it as date. All right, and then to ask you which column, the date, which is this first column here. You click OK, and then you come to your model. This is a date table, right? 2 ways, right? Is either, so let's just bring it so that it looks like a star really. So I can just drag date on top of what? Date, right? But remember, we have 2 dates here. This is where what's it called? This is where user relationship DAX function works. We have date, order date, we have ship date. Which one are we going to connect to? Because depending on what you want to do, there might be a time you need to connect, find a relationship between order date and what, and the ship date. So now for now I will connect to the what, order date. So I'm connected now. Now user relationship, what it does is it helps us to switch from this relationship in order date and help us switch it to what, ship date, right? So that's what relationship does. So let me go back and show us an example. Let's say we want to do average daily sales, right? So okay, so let's say for example we want to do average daily sales. Now average daily sales, but I want us to, let's say we want to now, we are not doing average daily sales. Let's say we have a okay, let me come down. So we have ship date.
Yeah, all of them I use 5% capacity.
Hello, please mute. So this is order date, this is ship date. So we've connected through the order date. We now want to do ship date. Let's say we want to connect back to the ship date. Let's say I want to do something of this nature. I want to be able to pick a table, right? Pick a measure. Let's say, have we done any measure here? Let's just do one measure so that we'll be able to, let's do sum of profits. Profit sum. Let's do sum of profits. Right. Now, normally, because there is a connection between my date table and this guy, all I need to do is just drag the date and then drag profit, right? But in a case where I need, this date is functioning based on what? Based on the other date. So if I need to switch it now, so I can say new measure, for example. Let's say average sales by ship date. So in this case now I can say average X. Now the table is date, right? So I will now switch. I can now say user. So let me first of all pass in the date. First is wait and come user relationship, right? So it will ask me which of the columns, right? Column 1, column 2. So I want the column 1 to be the date table date, right? Comma, column 2 will be what? Ship date of So instantly I do this, immediately I do this, right? This guy will make, so we'll use it to calculate, right? So this guy will make our relationship switch back to what? To order date, to ship date. Currently is with order date, right? So we have to create another relationship between date and ship date, but it won't be active. To just put it there, it won't be active because two dates you can see. How do you know that it's not active? You can see this dotted line around it. It's not a bold line, dotted line. So that is telling you that it's not active. But the moment we use user relationship, the moment we use user relationship, it switches that relationship from order date and date to ship date and date. So if I use a calculate, for example, now calculate. So I now use my profit, the profit calculation, profit sum I calculated, and I use this like this. So as it is now, right? You can see something change. okay, we can see that the values change because this date feed, even though we pick date feed, this date feed is now interacting with ship date. Okay, let me create one other measure so that we understand what I'm saying. So let me use calculate, and then let me use the same profit sum, and then let me not use anything with it. Okay, we have less than 10 minutes. We'll connect to the same. So let's drag this again to the table. Let's drag out this. You see that this one is now more, right? Because we are using the normal order date here. But for this guy, this other one, profit sum, where we use the, okay, sorry, this one, right? We are using, we've switched. You can see, look at it now, look at the difference. Now, you see that this is on order date relationship. This is on ship date relationship. That's why you can see that the values are different based on the relationship. So this other one, this one has switched the relationship from between date and order date to date and ship date. So that's how user relationship works, right? And it's very important to know it because in these scenarios where you have both order date and ship date, right? Both relationships cannot be active at the same time. It's only this one that is active. But if I want to make this ship date active, I will just use user relationship inside my calculate, and that makes it active. Do you get what I just explained now? Guys, do you understand what I just explained now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so quickly, so I think I wouldn't want us to dwell much more. So as we perform dashboarding and we create DAX for our current task, for the dashboard we want to build, we'll see the use cases of other DAX functions, right? So in 5 minutes, I want us to create our date table and then connect it to our data, right? Before now, there is no date table. So create the date table as I have it here, the date, the month, the year, quarter, and month here, and then come back here and connect it to our facts table to look like this. So I give us 5 minutes. In 5 minutes, I'm starting with Mike. You share your screen, and then John, Joe, and then Benjamin. Benjamin, is your system
Sir,
on?
hello, sir. I'm on my phone.
What's wrong with your system?
Battery is down. I've been using it to work all day.
Okay. But you have hardware on it, have you?
Yes, I've installed it. I've done
Okay,
it.
just make sure that you practice and do all these things. You get so that you can, because that was how.
Sorry about my absence yesterday.
I was expecting. What happened now?
Travel you.
What do you bring for food?
Yes.
You didn't bring anything. So I'm waiting.
Please sign. Okay, sir.
Joe, Mike, I'm waiting. 5 minutes, connect so that we can start building our dashboard. Okay. No problem then, Joe.
Hello, sir. My battery is low, sir.
Ah.
And I don't have light. I have 8% here.
Okay. Let me
So
just
the
continue.
second step I have, there is no
What you
power
are
BI
done
there.
by you?
No problem. Let me just continue. You can go back and I believe.
Okay.
So now let's start building our dashboard. But before we build our dashboard, remember in our organogram, sorry, not yet. In our 7 pillars, right? We have to, because before we build our visuals, we have to build our calculations. The calculations I've done so far is just to explain how that works, right? So now, but one thing is, you will notice before I start building my calculation, one thing, we have less than 4 minutes, so you join through the same link. So maybe it will work now, Joe, after joining with the link again. So one thing you will notice is our measures are just scattered everywhere, which is not really good, right? So no, I don't really like that. So our measures are just scattered everywhere. So we can make our measures on one side. How do we do that? We can create a table for measures. So which is what I'm going to do now. How do I do that? I will come to home, enter data, right? And then enter the name of my table, which is, let's say, measures table. Or this one, let me call it DAX explanation. DAX explanation. All right. So I will say load. So instantly the table appears here, right? The table will appear. You can see DAX explanation, right? I now want to move all these explanation measures that we created. I want to move them to this place so that it won't interfere with the new set of measures I want to create now. So I'll come to data model. So I'll come to model tab, sorry. So I will click on all the measures I want to move with my control key down. Second one, if example, or and profit sum, switch, which other one? Let's first of all move these ones. Then you come to general, right? And then home table. Currently they are on customer table. We don't need them there. We now change the home table to DAX explanation. So instantly you can see that all those guys have left what? They've left customer table. They are now, when you now expand this now, you see all of them. DAX explanation. Hello, please mute. Mute. So also, this guy, I can now hide it or delete it. So let's just hide it from report view. I don't want to see it in my main page. I can come here as well. This, what other table? These guys, these three, I can click on the three together by pressing my control key down and then right click and say hide in report view. So this way, I've hidden them. When I go back to my report tab, I won't see those tables again, so that my table, the tables we created initially, they are now what you have, right? So I have my location, fine. For fact table, fine. Date table, fine. Customer table, fine. And all the DAX explanations, they are now here, right? So we have less than 1 minute. So you can connect again when it's off. So I will have to create another table again to now host my measure tables, which are the ones I want to use to create all the measures we want, right? So let me go back home, enter data. This one I will now call it measures table. Load. It's loaded. So every of the measures I'm creating now, I will either two things, create, I'll click on this, right click and then say new measure, or I click on the name of the table and then say new measure, because